So this is the handle for the FX3.
Oh yeah.
And in some ways, I have to say this is a little more streamlined. I mean, yes, this is smaller, but I don't know. I think it's because I got all these.
Oh, the extra up
right,
top. Yeah,
which,
I don't have
which
any
you don't
dials.
need that because it's on the camera body.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, with FX3, you can't really put all of that on the body, otherwise it would be
But that's what this is.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I never would have knew that. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. So that's what that
Sweet.
additional cold shoe.
Okay. So put that here. We have some documentation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so Callus Browse. Is Sony like Blackmagic, where they give you a copy of Callus Browse?
They
do.
They do. So you have to enter your serial number from your camera and.
Okay, cool. Because I was wondering that.
Yeah.
And I believe the only thing left we have in the box is. Let me make sure. Yep. No. Is the thing everyone is here to see. Oh my God, this thing just.
It's so tiny.
It is so tiny and it is so light. It is one of the lightest cameras I've ever felt. Like, it almost feels like a toy, kind of. Like, it really almost, it feels like a toy. But again, it looks premium and just, because like I said, I've had them before. I've flown them on lifters before.
Oh, you have time code input. So if for some reason you did have to sync up sound with audio from set, you can just plug it in there and then.
Nice. But yeah, like I said, I've held them. I've flown them on my cinelifters before, but they weren't my camera, so they were rigged up and all this, that, and the other. So I didn't really have a stripped down, just bare version of it for me to see how it felt and what it really looked like. But now that this is mine, I can do that.
You can do that. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you
And
have a Panavision button here if you want.
Oh yeah. But yeah, for cinelifter applications, this honestly is
I actually have no idea what that button is for. I think
I think that's
a recording flag.
Yeah, so this button right here, the button he's talking about, is the flag button, and that actually would be another good use case for cinelifters or drone flying, or really for anything, but I can really use it for drone flying when you're going and going and going, and you're just popping batteries up, flying out, come back, pop battery, take off, fly again. If you find a clip or a flight that you really like, but you know you still got a ton more to do, you can just pop that button and that flags that last clip as okay, this is a good clip, okay, this is a okay clip, or whatever. You can assign that button in the menus what you want it to say, but that's a flag clip button. So you know when you come back, if you've done 20 or 30 flights throughout the day, you're not going to look through 20, 30 flights and try to find, oh, what was that one flight where I did this one cool thing? You can just hit it on the day, and then you come back and you've got 4 or 5 marked clips where you know that those are the clips that you can focus on and don't have to worry about all the rest of the stuff that you got. So that's another good specific use case for drone flying, I would say.
Yeah, and one reason that he's going with the FX6 as opposed to a smaller camera like the FX3 that we have up here is because the FX3 has a floating sensor.
IBIS. The dreaded enemy of drone of drones and micro vibrations and all that. And if there was a way to lock down the sensor, then the FX3 would be a perfect camera again for cinelifters because it's even lighter than this. Does it have the auto ND and all that stuff too, or
it does not?
It does not. Oh, so
So again, this is basically everything that the FX3 wants to be.
Yeah, yeah. This is an all-in-one package that I did some digging around, and I honestly, like I said, he talked to me. I guess he did kind of talk to me. Well, he talked me into it a little bit, but then me actually flying an FX6.
That's right.
Which I've shown. I've shown on my YouTube channel or my Instagram, but not on my YouTube. So I think I will do that here in a little bit. But once I flew the FX6 during Golden Hour one time, I'm like, I'm completely sold on this camera.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
oh my God, this image is amazing. No vibrations, crystal clear. And this was like Golden Hour, like sun was setting hard. There were contrast, crazy dynamic range from the darkest darks to the brightest sun staring you in the face, and the image was still like perfect. It literally came out perfect. I did a little bit of post coloring, but that was it. And that was the camera not even being truly dialed into what I wanted it to be for drone flying. So I know now if I can, when I can truly dial this camera in, I'm like, yeah, this is the camera for me. Because I was gonna pick the Blackmagic. I was gonna pick, that's your, that's your reaction. The Blackmagic Pocket, either 4K or 6K, because that's what everyone in the cinelifter space, or most people in the cinelifter space, will fly. They'll make a naked Blackmagic or just throw a regular Blackmagic on. And as you can see, the drone that I'm going to put it on is the La Mamba, which is kind of
It's kind of like the Mambo, but it's the La Mamba.
Yeah. In some ways, it was designed with the Blackmagic in mind because it's got a staggered motor pattern, so that way it makes use of wider cameras like the Blackmagic 6K. You don't have to. You don't have to worry about props getting in view and all that stuff. So I was really sold on the Blackmagic until I flew this baby. And when I flew this, yeah, it was all over. It was all over after that. Harry exposed the sensor for the first time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, look at that.
That looks so nice.
So
Yes.
I was giving Anthony kind of a hard time the other day because we were doing some drone shooting indoors, where, I kid you not, the base ISO for the camera he had at the time was ISO 100.
Yeah.
And the other camera was set at ISO 2500. So now he doesn't have an excuse, because this thing can go up to
800 and 12,800.
Which is completely bonkers. So
Yeah,
that was the other
exactly.
reason why I was trying to talk him into getting this one.
Yeah, the dual base ISO. That seems to be more of a more common feature that cinema cameras and all that have nowadays. Is
Right.
The dual
It's
base
like everyone
ISO
except Arri has adopted it, but Arri really doesn't need it because they handle it a little bit differently.
And so what I've just put on here is the Sony G24mm, not a G Master, but just a G
what up, G?
lens. Yeah. Not a G Master, but still basically has all of the features that I guess a G Master would have. So I guess what makes it a G Master
would be
is
like
the
bigger,
glass.
right? Exactly.
Yeah,
it's the bigger.
Yeah, the bigger glass. But yeah, all the features are still there. Like we've got a clicked and declicked aperture, which I actually, again, specifically for drone flying, I know that when you're in a film, mode, you want to have a declick so you can easily rack between your f-stops. But when I'm flying, the camera is flipping around, doing all sorts of crazy movements. I don't want one of them movements to accidentally shift my lens or my iris just because it's loose. So the fact that I can turn that click on and lock it into one stop, again, that's a perfect option for drone flying. The manual and autofocus, which we tried the autofocus with your FX3.
And it turns out that I need a firmware update for that lens.
For that, gotcha.
Which fixes the autofocus problem.
Okay, gotcha. Because I was wondering, yeah. So
I haven't been able to do it, so I'm still trying to figure it out, because what I have is the Zeiss Disticon 25, or one of the baddest lenses. Not badass, but baddest.
Yeah.
Fantastic lens, but I'm having trouble getting the firmware update, so I'll figure that out at some point.
That was the. Well, okay, so is the firmware for the lens or for the camera? Oh, okay, gotcha. Because I know you updated the camera before.
Right.
The
camera's got the latest firmware, but the lens is a little behind.
Okay, cool. And again, I will be happy to, because everyone rants and raves over this FX6 and the autofocus capabilities. I'm going to put that to the test when I put it on a drone and see if it actually works, because it would be nice to, when you're up high flying around and pretty wide, you want it to be deep. But then once you go into a gap and like you go from like outside to like inside a space and you're like flying in a space, you kind of don't want that focus to be deep. You kind of want it to come in a little bit so you can still see things that are not necessarily right in front of you, but like a good 5-6 feet away from you, and not just be completely blurry. So we'll see how
well it does.
how well this autofocus does in that application.
So my FX9 has been one of the most versatile cameras that I've ever bought. So this thing is definitely going to be one of those cameras that everyone's going to be asking for.
Oh yeah.
Plus, it's amazing you got one.
Exactly. Yeah.
I should point that out. They've been on. Yeah.
So we've got 80 gig tough, and then I also got a 128 gig video 90. The only reason I got the 80 gig tough was because they say to get the true 4K 120 at 10 bit, you need a tough card, which, okay, I can understand that. I would just get one. They also say it's like, what, 10 to 12 minutes, I think, total runtime. But with drone, I'm going to be up for 5-6 minutes.
That's a good question, actually. I think it's longer than that for the 80 gig.
Oh, it is? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, but with my drone, I'll be only up for 5-6 minutes getting that shot anyways. I'm not going to be up for 20-30 minutes. So that's totally fine for me.
Yeah.
Again, yeah. So another use case scenario. And then the 128 video 90. It's weird that they don't make, well, I guess it's a physical limitation. They don't make any video 90 in micro SD.
Oh, that's
size.
right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they only go up to video 60 and micro SD, because I've got a ton of video 60s for my GoPros and all that stuff. So I was like, I'll just get a video 90 SD. And
yeah,
nope,
I think
don't make that.
It's a couple of things actually. So it's bandwidth limitations, but it's also, if you look at the back of these cards.
It's funny. It almost reminds me of a little Nintendo Switch game cartridge, which I got right over there.
So that's actually what he's going to be using this handle for when it's not on the camera. It's going to be tested. But there it is. You got another set of...
nice. That's crazy how it's only that row for for that, and then that's, I guess that's the extra bandwidth they need. So that's the difference in contacts. Now we can cut it on, and even with like it all built out like this, I know this is a very light like run and gun setup, but even with it built out like this, it's still not heavy at all.
I've seen, so for those of you out there who feel like you need an easy rig for this camera, what is wrong with you?
Easy rig, but what?
Yeah, exactly. This is not an easy rig camera. So seriously, if you're, yeah. I've seen people do that, and I'm just like, it's an FX6, dude.
Yeah, you don't need an easy rig at all for this camera.
I think this might have, I don't know if this one has GPS or not, but you can always tell it to.
It doesn't have GPS, but that brings up a good next point of topic, is that since it doesn't have IBIS, it does have a gyroscope, which is the best thing, again, for cinelifters and drones, because micro vibrations. I don't know if we actually got off topic because we started talking about it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think we got off topic. But yeah, the built-in gyroscope, they activated it so you can take that data and marry it with the footage and get nice, smooth, clean, like truly stabilized like it was on a gimbal. But in my opinion, how this thing flies already, you don't need to stabilize it because it just flies.
Actually, you know what? You just reminded me of
so smooth.
Something about this handle.
What?
You actually don't have a microphone without the handle because it's right here.
Well, they said that I think this right here is like a little scratch. Yeah, I can actually see the grill. It's a scratch mic.
Oh, okay.
Basically, yeah. So like I said, it's not quality audio, but it's a scratch.
There's
track.
something there. Okay.
Yeah, it's something there on the body. But yeah, But yeah, the microphone here, if you don't have the built-in, and then the XLRs if you do want to do a
Something
built-in,
better,
yeah, built-in shotgun or whatever. But yeah.
Oh, another thing that this has that my camera does not is this has raw output via the
Oh
the
yeah,
SDI.
the SDI and the
Right.
HDMI, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Which my FX9 does not. So, Sony, what were you thinking?
Yeah, it's weird that you how they did it with the naming conventions and all, because you think going up from 3 to 6 to 9 that each increment would be a little bit better than the last one. But it's funny because the
Yeah, it
9
doesn't-
came out first, and then
did,
the
yeah.
3,
Yeah.
and then the 6.
Right.
So they built it that way, I guess, incrementally. So it's weird how this camera has better features than the FX9 or the
See,
and the FX3.
like as an advanced
The-
FX3, this makes a lot of sense because you can even tell on the side here that's got huge amount of cooling,
Yeah.
and that's
yeah.
why they're able to get so much more out of
Oh,
the
I think
same
you
sensor.
hit
as
the record
FX3.
button.
Oh,
It was recording.